to have a good conversation with a genius. Yeah, someone who has something to share with the world, a gift, not just in the forms of art, but her mind, her body, her heart, her soul, all of which is making the world a better place. Her name is Geannine. I've known her for over 20 years. Geannine Harris is truly a genius, and we're going to come into the world of genealogy. Yeah, so do me a favor real quick. Share this now, because you don't want to miss this.
This is my ode to everything that I grew up living in. This is how I grew up living. I lived in a space that looked like nobody else's space.
Wow.
It never looked like anybody else's house that I went into, even though I was forbidden from going and visiting my friends' homes. When I
old school, that's old school. That's back in, like, my mom was the same. You ain't spending the night over there.
What do you think you gonna go in there?
Right.
But even in the houses that I went with, chaperoned by my parents, nothing looked like my house. And most times people have a problem with that because we want to look like what we see. But I grew up always in an environment that was different from anything else that I had ever seen.
That's why.
And I was proud of it, and I loved it. And so this third floor is everything that, as much as I can get in this 1,200 square foot of what I grew up in.
Wow. So
in that room, that zebra print that's on the floor, that was on the wall in my dining room.
Growing up?
Growing up.
Wow.
As a 6-year-old, 7-year-old. So when I was designing this room, I thought, oh, I'm going to go over there and get those tree trunks. Yeah, and if he couldn't, he would see things in his head, and if he couldn't find them, he would make them. Creativity isn't copying what you see. Creativity is creating something you've never seen before. My father was creative. I'm just an extension of his creativity. I do like things I've never seen before. I don't like repetitiveness. I don't like to see the same thing over and over again. Even if I think it's beautiful, I don't want to see it over and over again. So I don't really own that title of being creative. But I have a creative sense about me. My father was creative. He created things you've never seen before. And all of these artifacts, my father and mother accumulated from their travels. And we never would go into stores. We would go to the markets. We would go into the villages, and my father would buy from the people, off their table, outside. And so these are things that were hand-picked by my mother, my father, myself, and Jerry now. And my mother wanted to see me finish a space. And so this space is all about my growing up and the culmination of Jerry and our life together. I've been with him more since I was 15.
So longer than I've been alive.
Yeah.
So in this room you have all of these pieces, but this right here, this piece right here, this spear, it's a spear that always, tell us why the war pieces, right? The tribal war pieces. Tell us about that. Why these pieces speak to you? What do they say to you when you look at these pieces of
So I know where I got it from. I got it from my father. I know where my father got it from. And where did he get it from? Well, he's a fighter because he had to fight. Because his father had to fight. And these warriors had to fight.
That's real.
We were all fighting for something different, but for life, to live, right? And a different life. And so my father started to collect these swords, and he has all of those, he's got the Japanese sword. He's got a Mexican machete. He's got a Messiah, I don't even know what you call it, but it's a reflection of the battle, but it's also a reflection or proof of the victory.
Wow, that's real. So hold on. Now, you saw the world early, right? You saw the South.
Yeah.
How did you begin to start painting? Like, what was that moment where you saw a canvas, grabbed a brush, and haven't looked back since?
Okay, so I think I've had canvases in my life that were not cotton or linen way before I was introduced to cotton and linen as a canvas, right? So like my first trip, I was 8 years old. My parents took me on a cruise and we went to Haiti. And so I saw all kind of color. I saw all kind of visual things. My father was very much into photography. And so I was his specimen for most of the time. Right? So I didn't know what he was seeing, but I saw the results of what he was seeing, and it was very different than what I saw when I looked at myself or when I was in the same country or the same space he was in.
Wow.
I would see the pictures, and because I was in the picture, I knew I was there, but I realized that's not what I saw.
It's not what you saw. Wow.
I didn't even notice that. And so I think that that was like the beginning, the preparation of building for who I am and what I see now and why I see things so differently maybe than others, or why I pick up on things that other people don't, because I've been massaged that way. I've been brought up that way. So my first canvas, I didn't pick up a cotton canvas until I was over 40 years old.
Wow. So your first canvas, what was that? What was that moment? Do you still have it? Or did
let me tell you about that moment.
Yeah,
that
bring us to that moment.
I had just left United Airlines after 20 some odd years. I was standing on the corner waiting for Jerry. He was late as usual. I was irritated.
Pause. Jerry Harris. Gerald Harris.
That one right there.
Hi, Gigi, what up?
Yeah, I went around the block. I went down to 27th Street and came back around.
Oh, I love him.
And I looked around and it was an art store.
Wow.
I was standing in front of an art store on Michigan Avenue, right across from the Art Institute. And I went in there, and they had some parchment cards, and they had some oil pastels. I don't know why I bought that, but I bought that, and I came home, and I just started layering it. And I made one, and man, I loved it, and I made another one. I had made like 8. And I thought, man, I think this is good. But my grandmother was still living, right? And my grandmother, who they say I'm most like, I knew that if I took her this work and showed it to her,
Grandma, wow,
she would either say, yeah, you got something, or you better go.
You know how grandma's
and you better find a job.
And then call your mom, what you doing with this child?
So I jumped in the car,
wow.
I went to my grandmother's house, she came down the stairs, and I was like, Mama, I need to show you these. And she said, ooh, Geannine, she said, you got something here.
Wow.
She said, and you got something here. And she said, I want you to write it down. Write everything down that comes in your mind.
Wow.
Just write it down. She said, you're going to think that you'll never forget it, but you got so much up here.
Write it down.
Write it down.
Wow.
And I told her, I said, Mama, I knew that if I came to you, you would either tell me to keep going or go another direction. And that's all I needed. That was all I needed to keep going.
Now you said something. Let's go downstairs and let's look at this. This is your workspace. On two sides of the spectrum, what I've come to hear and realize is on one side of the coin, your parents opened your window to the world, right? On the weekends, and from these trips, you saw the world in a different lens, and it led you to begin to paint. And then your father began to collect what he came in connection with the world and his identity and these artifacts. And then there's this workspace where the magic happens, where so much creativity combines beyond just painting and artifacts. It's the mind. So Geeology, what is Geeology? I seen the license plate, but I was like, I ain't never seen no license plate. So tell us, what is Geeology and how does it come to life?
Geeology is my freedom to express who I am unapologetically through whichever medium or voice I so choose, right? And it's me. I want to say it's authentically me, but yet me is still evolving, and our authentic self is not necessarily our best self.
Wow.
So I'm authentically me, but I'm always trying to be better.
That's real. I love. Hold on, see, that's what I'm talking about. Little stuff like that. That's little stuff like that's some genealogy stuff. Like I'm authentically. Don't say what you always say to me. I don't remember it. You should have wrote it down.
I am my authentic self, but my authentic self is not yet my best self. I'm evolving into my best self. So I like to use Cardi B as an example, right?
Hey.
Everybody gets excited and say she didn't have to change this, and she became successful, or Megan Thee Stallion, right? She can be her authentic self and be successful.
Right.
That is indeed true. Right. She's not yet her best self. She does not have to shake hands.
Wait, so in this genealogy, right? Like, so we see these cards and what have you. So tell us, what exactly is what was the moment, rather, when you wanted to capture all of these? What was that moment like? We know the moment when you got into the painting, but what led you to genealogy?
Cards?
What led you to what led you to beginning to express your gift in this one?
In that way. So in that way, it was because I rarely, as you know, am willing to sell my original artwork.
How many years now? I've been trying to negotiate. I've been trying to get something, just a postcard. The cards, right? Like, how did you get to a place where you moved from the canvas to the cards?
So it was a space of a time of evolution, growth. Initially, I wouldn't release my art because I didn't think it was worthy. Yeah, I didn't think it was worthy because I was self-taught, and I did not want the critique and criticism of someone who was self-taught. You know, when you're self-taught, you're taught you don't put dark on top of light. You go light and you build up, or you don't mix acrylic and oil, or you don't do this and you don't do that. I did whatever I wanted.
Did it your way.
And I did it until I liked what I had done, right? So initially, I didn't let it go because I didn't think it was worthy. Then I began to create things that I thought were extraordinary, and I wasn't sure I'd ever be able to produce them again because I wasn't sure how I created them in the first place.
Wow.
So I didn't want to let it go because it was my proof that I could do it.
Right.
Then I got to a place where I was who I am. And it didn't matter what anybody else said or how they felt about it. I needed to like it, and I was the only person who was going to own it because it was a part of me. And I'm not for sale on any level. And my art is not an extension of me. It is me. It is a part of me. So having a conversation with God, and I'm trying to figure out, God, you know, I've been trying to bridle my tongue for 20 years because they say, I'm snippy. I got my art. I don't help me. You gave me this. You gave me this. How am I supposed to use it? And that's how the cards came about. It was a way for me to share the art, own the original, and express my mind.
I want to get some genealogy, number one, because it's not just sayings. So how would you describe genealogy to the world, right? Like, there's these dope sayings, it's this art. What is genealogy?
Genealogy are the things that need to be intentionally said that we intentionally do not say.
The things that, here we go. So what
Genealogy are the things, words, phrases, comments that we intentionally do not say that need to be said with intentionality. I need to intentionally tell you I am sorry. I need to be intentional and tell you that I was wrong. I need to tell you that I made a mistake. I need to tell you that I love you. But those are things that we intentionally do not say.
Right.
And then sometimes we don't say them because we know they will not be received.
Yeah.
And so when you give somebody this card, my intention is that they may still not be ready to accept these words. Right. But they're not going to throw it away. You know why?
They won't throw them away when they get them. Why?
Because it's their proof. It's the proof that they want. It's the proof that they need. But it's the apology, it's the words, it's the moment they're not ready to accept. The moment's too big for the gift that's being given. Right? So you hurt me, you give me a card, right? And the card says, forgive me, I made a mistake, I was wrong. Yeah, you sorry, right? But you don't throw it away. You keep it because it's your proof. he did me wrong and this is my proof. And so you keep it there, right?
Right.
You might start telling somebody, when you don't have the proof in writing,
Right.
then you start to ad lib. And when you tell somebody else about what happened, you tell them how you felt rather than what actually happened.
Right.
But the words on the card never change. It says the same thing every time you go back to it. I made a mistake. I was wrong. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. It never changes. And so hopefully, the cards, our original art, they are a gift, and I think they are worthy. But my ultimate purpose is to change relationships, yours, theirs, and mine. And so the day will come where one day, when you pick up that card, and where your past actions have always been to toss it back or put it somewhere or put it under something, that you get to a day where you just hold it to your chest.
Say it with your chest. Hold it in your chest. That's
Just hold it right there, right? And hopefully that day comes before death, not of yours, but of theirs. Because sometimes we're not really willing to or ready to forgive somebody until it's honestly too late.
So, and this is just me, like, you know. So Genealogy is the art of what needs to be said and seen. This is just my interpretation. Love, what needs to be said but is not said.
That's a good one. So I just was thinking about this today. And so many people cradle and buy this thing about love will never leave you. And so this morning, I think because of the book I'm reading right now.
Right. What are you reading?
I'm reading Cicely Tyson's Just As I Am.
Gotcha.
And she truly loved Miles Davis, unequivocally. And most people question, like, how did these two get together? Why are they still together? And why is she still staying with him? And so then there are people who buy premises without any factual experience. And love will never leave, or love never leaves, or love always stays. It's baloney. Love will leave, because love isn't stupid.
Right. Talk to me.
Love may never die. But love will walk.
There's no love anymore.
Love will walk.
Right.
And people need to know that, because people use the excuse of staying because they love the person.
Right.
You're afraid to leave.
Oh, gee, you better let me sit on this couch. My name is William. Instagram. If you don't have Instagram, she's on Amazon. And how on Amazon to get the card? One more time.
It's Gigiology. Gigiology.
Yeah, you see it. It's right there on the screen. So just in case you know, it's visual learners. As you learn yourself, learn how you learn well. So I want you to, let this sit in your spirit. Share this with somebody, right? Like, share this with someone not for the study of Geannine, so that it can be thought-provoking for them to evolve in the study of their own ologies. And so we appreciate y'all. Let's see, church announcements. Oh, Sunday, Geannine, we wrapping up the last of the Strengthening Faith series. It's been a vibe. It's been a vibe on Sunday. So we're connecting with y'all on Sunday, but in the meantime, share this with the world so that they can begin to study and evolve themselves. This is Miss Geannine Harris and William Hall. We'll catch y'all a couple of Thursdays from now.